And welcome inside to another edition of Clutch Up. I am your host, Donnie Travis. Welcome back, and we have a very special edition of Clutch Up today. The first thing I want to start off with is a congratulations to the Little League team from Honolulu, Hawaii, who won the Little League World Series this weekend in dominating fashion, beating the international team. So congratulations to them. This is the second time the Little League team from Honolulu, has won the championship. And this is the fourth time that a team from the state of Hawaii has won it. So major congratulations and ups to them. The next thing I want to move right along to is we are in the midst of greatness. We are in the midst of history, as Serena has said that she's going on her last ride, and she is already off to her dominant usual self. She won this past Monday, kicking off in the first round, defeating Danka Kovanic in straight sets, 6-3 to 6-3. Her next match will be tonight, actually, on ESPN at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so you can catch that game there. She'll be playing Anit Kontaveit, and so that is another step for her. And just to talk about the atmosphere that was around the first round, just because it's Serena Williams. So many notable names came out to show support. So many names and voices were featured. We've had Oprah talk about, have a video play at the U.S. Open. Gayle King was in attendance. Mike Tyson, Spike Lee. So many notable names and so many notable people are in the midst of witnessing greatness and history. As we said, Serena is in her last tournament. In my humblest opinion, I don't see any reason for why she can't or won't win this U.S. Open. There is still a lot of things that kind of make me a little bit nervous. Her serve in the first round was not as dominant as it has been, as we've seen in the past, but this is just the first round. She still has a lot of things and a lot of kinks to work out. But as time goes on, and she's proven it, as time goes on, she gets better. So definitely, like I said, her next match in the second round will be tonight on ESPN at 7 p.m. And if they have another massive ceremony for her, like they did the first round, we're going to be in for a night of fireworks. Moving right along, we're going to be going to the MEAC SWAC kickoff, which is actually interesting because being a SWAC product myself, I've been calling it the SWAC MEAC kickoff challenge this entire time. But be that as it may be called the SWAC MEAC challenge still after Alabama State handled Howard by a score of 23 to 13. This did not come without some, I don't even necessarily want to call it drama, but there were about 3 different instances where we had weather delays due to lightning in the area. One pushed the kickoff start time back about 40 minutes. There was another in between the first and second quarter, as well as a third right before the game was going to be over. There was a weather delay with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left as Howard had the ball. And this is the thing that I want to say, and I'm mad at myself because I really have to go back and find this video, because I said that this game was going to come down to Howard's offense versus Alabama State's defense. And that exactly is what happened, because Howard's offense really could not get too much of anything clicking. They had plenty of opportunities to score. They've had plenty of opportunities to move the ball downfield, and they just couldn't for one reason or another. Their offense, I don't want to use the word stagnant because it was not stagnant. It had flashes of greatness here and there, but for the most part, it could not keep up with the pace that was set to Alabama State. So, as I said, Alabama State handled that game 23 to 13, starting off the season right. Also, major shout out to Howard wide receiver Richie Iraza, who had 7 receptions in the MEAC SWAC challenge, which actually is a record for most receptions in a MEAC SWAC challenge kickoff game. And also the SWAC MVP, Demartarius Davis, who led the Hornets with 224 yards of total offense, 187 in the air with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He also rushed for 37 yards, and he went 17 for 24 in the air. Alabama State's next game is going to be September 3rd at 6 p.m. versus Miles College. That will be at Alabama State. And then Howard's next game is going to be in the battle of HUs as they will take on Hampton at Hampton, also September the 3rd. So if you're in the area, definitely reach out for that because it will be a battle of the real HUs. Will the real HU please stand up? And staying right along with the HBCU football, there's been a little bit of drama that has been built up this past week, mainly around a school by the name of Florida A&M University and their football team. Right before they were scheduled to play North Carolina in North Carolina, they found out that at least 20 of their players were deemed ineligible. Now, this is a unique thing because this is not the typical ineligible story. Usually when you think ineligible, you think grades are not up to standard. No, this is not even the case. What happened is a lot of paperwork that players were to submit for NCAA clearinghouses was either mishandled or flat out really never turned in. And so this actually has led to a back and forth between the president of Florida A&M as well as the players. So number one, the athletic director for Florida A&M abruptly resigned earlier this year, Courtney Gasha, and actually ended up taking another job really like that with Tulane University as a senior associate for the athletic director. So now I'm going to read you the statement from President Dr. Larry Robinson involving the matters at hand. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to read the whole statement in its entirety, but the main portion that stuck out to me was this quote. The issues raised by these young men will get our full time and attention and will be prioritized by our recently established athletic support committee. So number one, they have an athletic support committee in place of an actual athletic director and all these other important aspects of an athletic department. The statement went on to also say the athletic support committee, which includes administrators and staff from throughout the university community, these matters will be a standing agenda item at my weekly senior leadership team meetings. We will see progress. Now, that was just one paragraph. I left it out because for me, the majority of the statement was fluff. It didn't seem like really taking necessarily the proper accountability for the issue at hand, because there should be no reason for why you are a Division I institution and you have 26 players ineligible. So if you read the president's statement as is, you would think, okay, this is a matter that would be handled in-house. It shouldn't really be anything like that. That's not what happened. This is the statement in part that the players released shortly after the game against North Carolina. During the admissions process, several of us had to submit academic transcripts, letters of recommendation, and immunization records multiple times before submissions were either misplaced or never forwarded to the proper departments. Currently, we have multiple players that have been deemed unable to participate in competition because simple tasks such as changing of majors, conferring of degrees, and the submission of grades have not been completed promptly. One such player submitted a change of major form on August 10th, and it has yet to be completed by his advisor or department. Is this the fulfillment of our university motto, excellence with caring? I'm not going to go into a very deep spiel about this. I'll leave that to my brother Roland Martin, who's really got into Dr. Larry Robinson's tale for this, basically calling his statement, for lack of a better term, a BS statement. And that's really the word that he used. So to see that you're not really showing these players now, before I even get into my actual point, if they didn't play this game, which they did, and they end up losing by a score of 56-24, which, by the way, covered the spread for a lot of people. If they did not play in this game, they were going to miss out on $450,000. $450,000. And as an institution, you cannot miss on that for any reason, especially reasons that you can take upon yourself to resolve. So I'm not sure who all is working in this athletic support committee. I'm not sure how important this matter is to him, but if this is truly an important matter with a game coming up, because Florida A&M has a Orange Blossom Bowl game against Jackson State, and this is one of the major stories that is coming out of Florida A&M right now. This cannot happen when you have a Division One institution, because if this happened, we have guys that are trying to increase their draft stock. We have guys that are trying to go pro and all of those things, and they're having enough trouble just trying to take classes, let alone trying to get to the league. And this, if this was a truly a serious matter that was to be taken, then this would have been resolved the day it was supposed to be. It was talked about. There should be no reason for why this is going to be a standing thing. No, these games are happening weekly. You have 26 players, by a count of 26 players, that are not eligible, not because of grades, but because of things that your department, your committee did not handle. And so the player statement, which actually is 5 pages long and is signed by every single player, is really calling out Dr. Robinson and his administration to handle this matter, because it really is affecting players and it is affecting the athletic department. Because another part in this is that they were not able to have proper housing or meals for the summer program, as summer program for a football program is very important and vital to make sure that they move forward. So this is a very big storyline, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last that you hear of it, especially coming from me. And we will definitely see where this matter goes. Like I said, Florida A&M plays this upcoming weekend against Jackson State University, who has their own issues coming up with not having a lack of water in the Jackson, Mississippi area. So this game is a sad thing that a big game such as Florida A&M versus Jackson State is just being overtaken by storylines that really shouldn't matter outside of the football field. But nevertheless, as we always do, these players and these programs will overcome. And one thing that I said I had a surprise for everybody, and we have her set up shortly. Oh, she ran away. But we do have a special guest for this episode of Clutch Up, and when she comes back, we will be able to interview her. But she is the first Black gymnast to win an NCAA All-Around championship, and she also has 30 plus years of experience as a gymnast as well as a coach. And she is the first coach for any HBCU gymnastics program, especially here at Fisk University. So I want to invite her onto the show. Please welcome Coach Corrinne Tarver.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Did I say your name right? Is that Corrinne?
Corrinne, yes.
Corrinne, yeah, nice to have you. So first of all, thank you for being on the show. And in adding to your list of first, you are also the first guest that we've had on Clutch Up. So I want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with us here. And the first question I really want to talk to you about is, since you have 30 years of experience being a gymnast yourself as well as coaching, I just want you to talk about really your beginnings and how you got into gymnastics yourself.
Well, I kind of followed after my sister, who was a cheerleader, and she would go to tumbling classes, and I was bouncing off the walls. So my parents thought it best to get me in gymnastics instead of having me flipping off of furniture and potentially injuring myself. So I did actually get a kind of late start. I also did dancing school and did some tumbling there, but it was kind of late for gymnastics, for gymnasts. Most gymnasts start when they're 4 or 5 years old. I was closer to 8, 9 years old before I really started going to a good gym where I learned real gymnastics.
And then, like I said, you were the first Black gymnast to win an NCAA All-Around championship at the University of Georgia. But now you are also the first coach in gymnastics at an HBCU. So what does being the first coach for the HBCU gymnastics team, what does that actually mean to you?
Obviously, it's history making. It's exciting. It's humbling, honoring. To be able to lead the group of young women that we've recruited into this historical event. So it's exciting. I mean, a lot of people are excited about us adding the program. And I know that there's a lot of anticipation on what we're going to look at like when we step on the floor. So we're ready to show the world what we have and how amazing our athletes are, and what a entire group of women of color can look like.
Exactly. And I know you talked about having women of color. Dr. Van Nerwook, the president of Fisk University, in speaking about you, said she is a highly qualified coach that will lead the program to top honors. So the first question I have from that is, do you have any goals that you set for this first year?
Our first year is to just go out there and show the world what we can do. You know, go out there and be able to hit our routines and look clean and be able to gain the scores that we deserve. We want to make sure that that happens because obviously it's going to be the first time that an entire team full of women of color is going to be stepping on the floor. I don't anticipate any problems. There's so much buzz and excitement that I'm confident that we will get what we deserve to get score wise, but also just to be able to show that, you know, I mean, it can happen, and it can happen at other colleges. Other HBCUs can add and have a lot of success.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure you were aware of this or not, but the very first gymnastics practice that Fisk University had went viral on social media. What have you received any type of support from other people outside of Fisk, necessarily, more specifically, probably the HBCU community or other people in the gymnastics community?
We received a ton of support. The gymnastics community is very, very excited for a lot of reasons. But yeah, that video going viral has brought a lot of publicity to the Fisk campus and to Fisk Gymnastics. So it's a little extra pressure on the girls, but I know they can handle it, and they're excited. They really want to show what they are capable of. So we have a lot of support, and it's helping with different things. Like we're now trying to build our own gym on campus because currently we work out off campus at a private club, and we rent space. So we are now in the process of raising money so that we can have an on-campus site. So we're excited about that.
Nice, nice. And one thing I saw is that, have you already had the Brown Girls Do Gymnastics conference already? Has that happened on campus yet?
That was this summer, yes.
Yeah. So did you plan on handing out any scholarships for potentially a future Simone Biles or Gabby Douglas at all?
We're working on it. My assistant coach handles the recruiting. She's our recruiting coordinator. So we are currently, narrowing down our, top athletes that we want to bring on campus to see about potentially inviting them onto the team and offering some potential scholarships. So we're in the process of doing that, ready to expand our team. So it's happening.
All right, and then the last question that I have for you is, because I know that the gymnastics season hasn't necessarily started yet. I haven't found anything in terms of the actual schedule being released for gymnastics just yet, but it does look like you all have a roster. Are you confident with the roster that you've put together so far? Because it does look like you have a lot of fresh young blood, I like to say, on the mat. So are you excited for this upcoming year? And if so, where can we expect to find Fisk University Gymnastics?
We have we have a mix, but we have a lot of studs. We have some really talented athletes that are going to go out there and, get some big scores. And then we have some that are not as seasoned, but they have potential to score really big as well. So I think our biggest challenge is going to be staying healthy, which is a challenge for every team. And then just getting into the college mindset. It's different than competing in clubs. So we don't have as much older, more experienced people on our team that can help navigate that, but we do have some. So we're going to work real hard to get them to understand how to compete during a college gymnastics season. Because like I said, it's very, very different than club. So we're looking forward to it though.
All right. And then when does the actual season take place?
We start in January. That's pretty much where all it is. And our schedules should hopefully be out sometime in October. If not the end of November, but that's the typical time. We are currently waiting on a couple of schools that have to get their conference schedules in place before they can tell whether or not when they can schedule us. So we're just kind of waiting for some of those to come through first.
All right. Well, Coach, it was great having you on. You are doing amazing things, not just for Fisk University, not just for the HBCU community, but for gymnastics as a whole, starting something very special over there at Fisk University. And can't wait to see all the special Black girl magic that's going to be taking place over there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right. And the moving right along, that was great to have a coach like her on. That was just amazing. Like I said, that was my first interview on Clutch Up, so that was the right guest to have, the perfect one. And just finishing up some other things that I had right here, we're moving to the MLB now. Aaron Judge is making home run history as he has already hit his 51st home run of the season last night in a loss against the Angels. He currently is 10 home runs away from breaking the AL record for home runs, and that his 51 home runs right now currently leads all of baseball. The second closest is Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Kyle Schwarber, and he only has 34. It is also worth noting that Aaron Judge has already surpassed 50 home runs once in his career. His rookie year, actually, when he had 52 home runs. So he's already on pace to shatter his career high in this. But we're going to see how it happens. It is very uncommon to see people, baseball players, have 50 plus homers before we even get to September. The baseball season runs up until October, the beginning of October. That's when postseason play happens. And then, so for him to have 50 right now before we even get there is amazing. And the last bit of news I want to share with you all, as we are going into the NFL season. We're starting the countdown to the NFL season. Teams are getting their 53-man rosters together before we kick off September 8th. One player you will not be seeing is Buffalo Bills now released kicker Matt Ariza, who was released this past week amid sexual assault allegations of a minor during his time at San Diego State University. Now, I want to bring light to this situation because it is a very, very unfortunate situation, and I know it's hard to hear about, and it's just as hard to read about. The accusations are as follows. A civil lawsuit filed Thursday in San Diego County Superior Court alleges Ariza sexually assaulted an inebriated 17-year-old high school senior outside of an off-campus party in October of 2021 at a home where Ariza lived, bringing her inside a room where she was allegedly assaulted by multiple other men. According to the complaint, Ariza, who was 21 at the time, allegedly gave the victim a drink she believes not only contained alcohol, but other intoxicating substances, despite her saying she was in high school. This is a very, very, very unfortunate matter of events, and it has cost Matt Ariza his job in the NFL, as rightfully so. The NFL has not said anything really publicly about this because this is a matter that happened before he came into the NFL. So it's not necessarily something that they can comment on, or I believe honestly should comment on. Obviously, they come out and stand opposed against this because this is not the type of conduct you want anyone to have, much less someone in your league if you're having all these other standards of personal conduct. So, as I said, he's lost his job. He retains his lawyer. So we will see how all this plan plays out. But I can tell you one thing: won't be playing in the NFL. And ending this very special clutch up, we are ending with a on this day. And on this day in 1881, we had the first U.S. men's single tennis championship in Newport, Rhode Island. It's amazing that we have the first men's singles tennis championship in Newport, Rhode Island in 1881. And today we have a black queen by the name of Serena Williams dominating the game. That is all the time I have for you on this rendition of Clutch Up, but be sure to check in next week because, as always, I come with the best. Till next time, I've been Donnie Travis. Clutch up.